All right, welcome. So I just wanted to take a real person who is achieving real results. But I do have to be honest and say that she's been doing incredible work. She's been overcommitted. She's been extremely committed. She's been disciplined. And when you do those kinds of things, results are inevitable, right? Because if we're taking for weight loss, for example, the weight loss is nothing more than a byproduct of your daily actions. So I want to take you through our system and how we do things and show you the amount of support that we give the people who are serious to change and they really want to change because they're tired of living in their current lifestyle. And even though changing is hard and it's draining, it's always harder and more draining to stay where you are right now. And as we all know, if you're staying the same, you're actually regressing. You're not staying stagnant ever. So basically, we have our consult. So we have a questionnaire that we go over. We get to know the person. We get to understand her goals. We get to find their availabilities for them to come and work out. Again, for first-time clients that come in and want to join the gym, we recommend 2 times a week only. And then once they're ready, maybe in a month, maybe 2 months for some, it's 3 times a week. And that is good enough for you to have great results. It's good enough for you to build muscle while burning fat. So after our consultation with the questionnaire, once we understand who they are, what they want, and what they're willing to do to get there, basically we hop on this document together. We have our meeting, so we go through all the tabs. And then after that, once they leave, I kind of build a plan for them. So basically, I share this document. They have it, and basically, here's how we do these things. All right. So weigh yourself every day. Sorry, right? So the best time is upon waking up. After using the washroom and always having the same clothing or no clothing on. Again, not the scale is not for everybody, but it is um, the tool that will give you the immediate feedback that you need in order for you to know whether what you're doing on a day-to-day basis is working or not. And we have other people, they're going to weigh themselves once or twice a week. But the more data that we have, the better the average is at the end of the week, the better we can adjust their current way of doing things to help maximize the results. And again, some people are like, I'm not weighing myself. That's fine. What we do is we have them come in the gym, they hop on the scale and they look forward, so they never see the number. But as coaches, we see the number and we jot it down. Sometimes they ask for it, most times they don't. But as long as we're seeing progress, we don't even mention that number. So that's one way that we go around. So that's our first metric that we track. Our second one is we measure ourselves every 2 weeks. And the last metric is that we take photos every 3 weeks. Again, the scale doesn't always tell the right story, but 90% of the time it does. But once you get to a certain weight, a certain place, your measures, right? Your weight is going to stay the same, but you're going to start losing inches, right? You can look one way at 180 pounds and you can look completely different at 180 pounds. And so that's why we have the scale, we have the measurements, and the last one is the photo, right? So you might still be 180, you might not be losing as many inches, but you're building muscles and the muscles are starting to show on your body. So those are the three metrics that we use here at Wally Strength Conditioning to help our clients achieve their goal, to help them achieve the goal of feeling good in their skin, feeling good in their clothes, being comfortable and doing things that they once did, but were no longer able to, and now they can get back to that stuff. After that, we don't complicate it. We keep it simple. We simply ask the client to keep eating whatever it is they're currently eating, whatever it is they're currently drinking, and then after that, to simply track it. All right. And again, I'll explain that later, but tracking is not a forever thing. It's just to identify the direction from point A to point B, right? Once you've identified that direction, you know exactly the portion size, you know exactly how much of the ingredient or the food you're going to eat, so you don't need to track it anymore. But it does help you stay on track because when you stop tracking, what happens is maybe you do a scoop extra, or maybe you take a second little plate, right? All these little things add up over time. But say you sign up to the gym and you come here, well, you don't know where we are, so you have to put it in your GPS on Google Maps, and then it's going to tell you what road is the quickest to get there. And then after you've done it one time, maybe the second time, you're still not sure if you went left or right, so you need to GPS it again. But after the third, fourth, fifth time, you don't need the GPS. You know exactly where you're going, you know where you're turning left, you know where you're turning right. And that's kind of what our coaching is all about, is to help you get from point A to point B with as minimal resistance as possible in the quickest way possible. So again, for her proteins were set at 160 grams, her carbs were set at 180, and her fats were set at 66. I'm going to talk more about this later on. The app that we recommend our clients use is the app Lose It. And then after that, once they get to the end of their day, I recommend either at the end of the day, but a lot of time at the end of the day, you're tired and you don't want to think, you don't want to do things. So what I recommend is the next day in the morning, usually on your work break, take 10 minutes and then analyze your day that just passed. And then from there, you can make the adjustments, right? Maybe you're way off target. You gotta adjust a lot of things. Maybe you're already close to your target and you just have to tweak a few things. Again, we don't believe in eliminating anything because yes, it will help you get to your goal faster, but the reality is once you get to your goal, you're going to start reintroducing those things and you're simply going to start regressing. So rather than eliminating, we like to reduce. We can still have our favorite foods. We can still enjoy ourselves. In fact, we should enjoy ourselves. We should be able to enjoy life. We shouldn't be walking around miserable because we can't eat XYZ. But what we do ask is that you add things to your plate, which kind of takes care of reducing the things that maybe aren't serving you as well. After that, we're big on taking steps, right? But again, if you're taking 2,000 steps a day right now, we're not going to get you up to 10,000 because that's not realistic. It's going to work for a week or two, and then it's going to go out the window because you don't have time to do 10,000 steps a day. So you 2,000, once you get comfortable there, we would up it up to 3,000. That might take a couple of weeks. And then another couple of weeks, you might be at 4,000. But at the end of, 8, 9, 10 weeks, right? You're close to your 10,000, and rule of thumb is 7,500 or more. 7,500, sorry, is good enough. But again, if you have time and you want to do more, then it can only benefit you even more. After that, so that's kind of like where we take off. And then, I let the client know if there's any questions, anything that needs to be troubleshoot, anything that's causing a lot of resistance, to get in touch with me. But every day for the first 14 days, I'm in touch with the client to see how they're doing, where they're struggling, what they need help from me. And then after that, I go to, every other day. And then after a month, I leave it up to them. If they think they got a good hold of it, I check in once a week, maybe twice a week, depending on her numbers and what this is all about. And then after that, they've programmed the GPS. They know how to get to their destination. They no longer need me, which is the true definition of a successful coach, is that you've educated your client good enough on the recipe that works for that person that they don't need you anymore, right? But if you do a good job, you help them feel the way that they want to feel, then they will keep working with you. But again, life happens. Maybe they move across the country. Maybe they have a job where all of a sudden they work remotely far away or what have you. But you've just taught them the necessary skills to live a healthy and active lifestyle. All right. So moving on, after that, we have a weekly schedule. All right. So this is kind of like mine, what I show them. This is used to auditing your time, right? So if you don't know what you're doing with your time, then probably you don't have enough time. Probably you can't make things work. probably you have every excuse in the book. So this helps one identify where maybe you're not serving your time well, and also where you have empty spaces that you don't really do anything that you could put towards improving your lifestyle. All right. After that, moving on here. So we have our weekly mindset. So just over here. Okay, so this is something that our clients get every week on Friday morning. All right, so it just helps them assess their week, helps their nutrition, their training sessions, rate their performance, their sleep quality, hunger levels, cravings, recovery, their motivation to train, and all that kind of stuff. And then we set them up for success for the following week. We like to do this on Friday because if we can take care of our weekends, then the rest is very easy and the results are guaranteed to come. But if we don't take care of our weekends, then we all know that we go back two, three, four, five, sometimes six steps. And at the end of it, all right, so we have a 52 question thing about personal development question. So these are things that will help you reflect and can kind of help you find the blind spots if you want. And also, if you're not having a good week, it helps you reinforce the good things that you did. After that, all right, our messenger group. So here, basically, we have a private group for our members where we share credible and practical information. There's so much things out there these days. It's so complex, and you don't know where you're throwing yourself and what's good and what's bad. So we keep it simple. We keep it straight to the point. And our members also share some of their favorite recipes in there. So it's a great little community tool that helps one another grow. As I was saying, all right, so this is kind of our tracker here. Just put it a little smaller. All right, so I believe we're approaching day 90 here. All right, but basically, what we've done, I'm actually going to start right here. All right. So over here, so what we've done is we've calculated how many calories they burn just by living, and then how many calories they burn with just living and exercise. And then we decide the aggressiveness of the deficit that we want to do. So basically, we just enter their age, we enter their weight, and we enter their height. And then after that, it shoots out the numbers. All right. And for her, it was about 1,800 calories. All right. So just the fact of living, breathing, driving to work, sitting down, eating supper, she burns about 1,800 calories. And physical activity, I always put it at 1.2. You shouldn't really include physical activity in there. But again, it gives us a bit more flexibility. And if I would put 1.7, even if they're extremely, extremely active, if I put 1.7, I'm going to overestimate their calories, which means they won't get the results that they want from the start, which means that they won't be as likely to buy in and confident in the process. So I always like to underestimate the calories here, get some early wins, because that is very important. And then from there, if we need to adjust, we adjust along the way. But we haven't needed to adjust with this person, and she's almost at day 90. So basically, through exercising and just living, she burns about 2,200 calories per day. All right. So that's an average of about 16,000 per week. So again, we ask ourselves, what is the goal? Some people it's to gain weight, some people it's to maintain their weight, and some people it's to lose weight, right? So lose fat. So we start them in a deficit. Anything below 0.80 is considered very aggressive. It can be done for a short time, a specific time, but anything below 0.80, you're just, asking for trouble and a non-sustainable approach. On the other hand, if you're at zero point 0.9, yes, you'll get results, but they won't be as fast. So we like to start them at 0.85 and then we just adjust depending on how they're feeling and also the transition period that they're currently in. Maybe life is hectic. Maybe life is super stressful. Their life is completely different than it was a year ago. So we take all that into account. And again, we like to be flexible in our approach. So, 1,900 calories is our deficit. which again, people would look at that and they're probably like, oh my God, I used to eat 1100 calories. And you know what? That's probably why you're no longer the way that you are, the way that you look, is because you were too aggressive, too quick. Yes, you got results, but eventually you have to live in the real world, and sustainability is just not a thing with 1100 calories. All right. So over here again, right, if they get 1800 to 2000 plus minus 100, you're still in the clear. You're still going to see results because this is your maintenance level. 2200 is your maintenance level. So even at 2000, you're 200 below your calorie maintenance. So you're still going to get the results. Now, after that, right? So I want to lose 50 pounds. And then we chose 18 months, which is a bit aggressive, but we chose 18 months and things are going well. But if they weren't, we can always go ahead and do this. All right, a little more feasible, 0.5 pounds per week. Um, and then after that, basically, if we can daily have 1900 calories or weekly have 13,500 calories, we are going to get there in 18 months. It's as simple as that. Now it's all about the strategies and how we implement to make sure they're feeling full, they're satisfied, their energy levels are up. So that's a whole other conversation. But at the end of the day, scientifically, mathematically, if they stick to 1900-ish calories, they should be pretty close to 50 pounds in 1 year and a half. All right. As for the proteins, I like to do 0.8 to 1.2 grams per body weight, depending where they're at. Right here, we chose 187 grams of protein. That's quite a bit. But again, protein is essential to build your muscle, repair, and then feel full and reduce your cravings. All right. After that, fats, I like anywhere between zero point 0.2 and zero point 0.3, depending on the situation. Again, women with all the processes and the hormones and everything that happens inside the woman's body. I like to start off at zero point 0.3, and then if they're feeling good, we drop it a bit. But we have no issues keeping it at zero point 0.3 for a long time. And the carbs take up the rest of it. Which basically here would be 150. And I come from the world where carbs are bad, carbs make you fat, carbs are evil. But realistically, carbs are a source of life, right? They're your fuel. If you're working out, if you're taking walks, if you're jogging, biking, go on hikes, whatever that may be, you definitely need those carbs to fuel you. So like I was saying earlier, right, our week one objective is trial and error. Eat as you would, drink as you would, keep your same lifestyle, and then at the end of the day, see where you're at, adjust, and then keep going. Usually within 2 weeks, people are pretty much hitting their targets consistently, and that's where the real result starts to happen. So if I come back here, right? So for this person, so we also have high days and low days. So our high days are maintenance, right? So as long as you're at maintenance or below, scientifically, you're not going to gain weight. On the other hand, our deficit is 1930. So at 1930, we're going to shed some pounds. But again, it's not always feasible. We have social events. We have higher stress days, higher stress weeks, higher stress months. So it's up to us and the client to manage their high and low days. All right. She has a lot of low days, then she's got a couple high, another high, right? So it's all depending on how she's feeling. Maybe it's 2 days that, she's been very hungry. Well, let's do a week of high calories. We're going to allow our body to get the right nutrients, all right, to help with better recovery and to overall feel good. And then once we start feeling good for a couple of days, we shoot back to the low. What I like to do is Monday, Tuesday, low, a Wednesday high, Thursday, Friday, low, and then Saturday it's a high, and then Sunday depends on my social activities or what's happening on that specific weekend, right? So as long as you allocate your calories accordingly and you adjust for the activities that are up and coming, then you're definitely going to be able to have some great success. And rule of thumb here, right? So started at 199, so times 10%, right? So 19.9 pounds. So once she hits that, which is pretty much now. So she has two options. Option one is to keep that maintenance for half of the time it took her to get there or more. That way, her body is going to allow to set a new baseline to be comfortable at that new weight. And then after that, once we're good, then we do another deficit, right? And important thing to note is sometimes, depending on the person, you want to start them in a surplus because they've been under eating, they've been underfed, they're under nutrients. And so by starting them in a surplus, it allows the body to recover a bit and to prepare for that deficit. So that's kind of where we go with this. As I said, you don't always have to be in a calorie deficit. But over here, you can see all the tracking. Everything's done so well. You can see your numbers, and it's just about consistency. And I mean, if you look at the numbers, right? So it's like the average is 1800, almost 1800, 1850, 19, almost 2000, 2000. All right. So she's eating a lot of food, a lot of nutrient dense food, and she's just been killing it. It's actually quite impressive to see. So here we are almost at she just crushed below 180 here. And again, this is kind of how we stay in touch without being one-on-one. We leave each other comments. So that's another great way that we do this. Then the transformation chart, this is it where we track the daily weight. But again, it's not always a straight line, right? So it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. It's always up and down. It never is a straight line to your goal for sure. But we also like to see it in blocks of 5 pounds. So you're right here. Well, your first milestone is 195. Once you get that, your next milestone is 190, 85, 80. So she's done 1, 2, 3, 4 milestones so far on her way to 150. And again, she might come to 160 and she's happy with where she is. And the sacrifices that she would have to do to lose that extra 10 pounds are just not worth her time and her energy. And that's completely fine, right? And that's why we always adjust accordingly. And then for privacy purposes, the measurements, I'll keep it the way it is. The pictures, I'll keep it the way it is. But those are our three metrics. Some of our clients like to send their weekly reports. It doesn't mean that I'm going to check them, but at least it helps keep them accountable. And again, right, I don't know if I mentioned, but what we care about, it's the weekly averages, right? That's what we care about, just like the steps. All right, now she was already a big walker, so we started her at 13,000. But what we care about is the 13,000. Maybe she'll do 10 one place, and then, here she did 20,000 on one day, and she ended up with an average of 14,000, doing 12,000 here, 12,000 there. That's fine because our average is where we want it to be. So moving on here, a couple more things. Protein is extremely important early on. So we have some options here for you guys if you don't know quite what to do. Protein intake, if you barely any or no limited meat and eggs consumption, what are nutrient dense food? This is very important when a low calorie deficit. Um, you know, After that, some high fiber foods, importance of portion size, right? You can still have the things that you want as long as you make place on your plate for things that you need, right? And then our supplements, high performance food, suggested food lists. So we have a bunch of different things here. We even have, pre and post workout snacks, talking about eating to control your hunger. So we have a million and one things here that, extra educational content for those that don't like the scale because it fluctuates. Well, here are 7 reasons why it does fluctuate. And also we do have non-scale victories as well, right? So it's not always about the scale, but the scale is a immediate feedback tool that helps us know where we stand. So that's kind of like the outside the gym process, right? So we follow our clients inside the gym as well as outside the gym. And for those that only come twice a week, well, that's 2 hours out of their week, which is like 0.015% or something minimal like that, right? So the other 160 some hours, well, for sure, that's where it's going to be the biggest bang for your buck, the biggest ROI. So yeah, so I just wanted to hop on here, share how we care about our clients, how we help them achieve their dream body, and the things that we implement within our system, right? People don't just come to the gym, they do their workout, and they go home. Um, we're a lot more attention to detail than that. Once you invest in us, we invest very deeply in you, and we are accountable for your results, and we do not stop until we get you there. So I'm going to finish this off like that. If ever you're interested in working with us, just let us know. We'll set up a consultation. It is absolutely free. You can even try a class for free, and we'll get you well on your way. This is especially important with the new year up and coming. So again, thanks for your time. If you're still listening, definitely you want to be a part of this. So just send us a message, 613-884-3253, 613-884-3253. Thanks, guys.